OpenAI has deactivated an Iranian ChatGPT account that was being used for disinformation. Welcome back to the AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition, all the daily AI news you need in around 5 minutes. In our coverage of SB 1047, the controversial California AI regulatory bill that's been in the discussion recently, one of the big complaints from people who are opposed to the bill is that it prioritizes existential risk factors versus those that are more here and now. This is the basis, for example, of a lot of the current congressional Democrats from California saying that SB 1047 lacks an evidentiary basis. Whether you agree with that or not in terms of SB 1047, if you watch the news, it's definitely clear that there are challenges here and now with AI that we're starting to have to deal with. Case in point, OpenAI recently deactivated a ChatGPT account that was linked to an Iranian disinformation campaign. One of the big concerns that people have had is AI impacting the current presidential election cycle. And while this wasn't the first time that OpenAI has had to shut down an account from a foreign adversary, it does appear to be the first time that OpenAI had removed an account that was focused on disinformation around the US election. Axios writes that OpenAI actually identified, removed, and banned an unspecified number of ChatGPT accounts this week that were being used to create content about the US presidential elections. OpenAI writes, "This week, we identified and took down a cluster of ChatGPT accounts that were generating content for a covert Iranian influence operation identified as Storm 2035. We have banned these accounts from our services, and we continue to monitor any further attempts to violate our policies. The operation used ChatGPT to generate content focused on a number of topics, including commentary on candidates on both sides of the US presidential election, which it then shared via social media accounts and website." That said, OpenAI said that the operation didn't appear to have achieved meaningful audience engagement, and that the majority of social media posts that they identified received few or no likes, shares, or comments. They referenced something called the Brookings Breakout Scale, which assesses the impact of covert intelligence operations on a scale from 1, which is the lowest, to 6, which is the highest, and considered this to be the low end of Category 2, which meant activity on multiple platforms but no evidence that real people picked up or widely shared their content. Storm 2035 was using ChatGPT both to generate long-form articles as well as to generate shorter social media comments. The content that was created was published to both progressive and conservative news outlets, and the social media accounts that were created posed as both progressives and conservatives. And interestingly, OpenAI says they interspersed their political content with comments about fashion and beauty, possibly to appear more authentic or in an attempt to build a following. Said Ben Nemo, principal investigator from OpenAI's intelligence and investigations team, "We all need to stay alert but stay calm. There's a big difference between an influence operation posting online and actually becoming influential by reaching an audience." Meanwhile, that wasn't the story that was getting a lot of attention when it comes to AI and the elections. Former President Donald Trump took to his Truth Social network and shared several screenshots of X posts showing women wearing Swifties for Trump t-shirts. Another screenshot was Taylor Swift, created to look like Uncle Sam, with the message, "Taylor wants you to vote for Donald Trump." Trump himself captioned the post, "I accept." And there have been approximately 100,000 different media outlets writing about this. Now, to me, this actually brings up a question from Professor Ethan Mollick, who wrote, "The first predictable bad effect of AI, easy deepfakes, is already here thanks to open flux, and there has been remarkably little wide outcry, either in the press or among policymakers. I wonder if it hasn't sunk in yet, or if it ends up being less disruptive than anticipated." He continues, "It looks like we're all going to just live through the end of reliable images and see how it works out." The interesting question to me, which we'll just have to wait and see, is what actual impact things like Trump sharing those AI photos actually has. In that case, it strikes me that they're pretty obviously not real, and that it doesn't seem like there was an actual attempt here to convince anyone that they were. Does that have the impact of us just sort of assuming things are AI, so to not take anything too seriously? Or does it lull us into a false sense of security, where when a politician shares an image that's actually been created by AI and attempts to convince us it's real, we actually still take it seriously? It's a pretty significant and fascinating sociological question that I'm not sure anyone's going to know until it actually happens. Meanwhile, over in AI on Wall Street, AMD is making a $4.9 billion AI acquisition in its attempt to catch up to NVIDIA. The company is planning to buy ZT Systems to bolster its ability to provide AI infrastructure. According to a release, AMD says the deal will bring about, quote, "the next major step in AMD's AI strategy to deliver leadership AI training and inferencing solutions based on innovating across silicon, software, and systems." Writes MarketWatch, the company will be tapping into ZT Systems' expertise in both the design and optimization of cloud computing offerings. Said Mizuho analyst, the deal validates NVIDIA's integrated strategy of self-contained full rack system hardware designs, and the deal could make investors, quote, "a wee bit more confident about AMD's ability to hit Wall Street's target for $9 to $10 billion in AI GPU revenue next year." Meanwhile, the Information is arguing that another AI-related stock in ARM is priced too highly. They write, since chip design firm ARM Holdings went public last September, excitement around generative AI has sent its stock soaring to a high last month of $188, more than triple its IPO price. While the stock has since fallen back a bit, investors are still valuing ARM at a big premium to NVIDIA, both on a multiple of future revenue and profits. The valuation gulf makes little sense. By way of example, they say that AI is a much smaller part of ARM's business than of NVIDIA's. They compare NVIDIA's 126% revenue increase as opposed to ARM's 21%. Ultimately, this author suggests ARM stock looks severely overvalued, trading at 33 times estimated next 12-month sales, compared to 23 times for NVIDIA. They also point out that AMD is trading at just 8.5x. I share this only because I continue to think that Wall Street is in a potential repricing moment when it comes to AI stocks, which, as we will discuss again a little bit in the main part of the episode, I believe has exactly nothing to do with what AI means as a technology. Lastly today, yet another lawsuit around copyright infringement, with a group of authors suing Anthropic this time, alleging that it committed, quote, large-scale theft in training Claude on pirated copies of copyright books. At some point soon here, we're going to have to start declaring a moratorium on covering news of new suits in favor only of actual updates as these things work their way through the legal system. For now, though, that's going to do it for today's AI Daily Brief Headlines Edition. Up next, the main episode.